Welcome to Elevate and Thrive, Breaking Barriers for an Empowered Life. I'm your host, Jen Smith, and I am so excited to be on this journey with you. In this podcast, we are going to dive deep into the transformative stories of individuals who have faced adversity head-on, emerged stronger, wiser, and more empowered. I'm here to share those stories with you, to remind you that no matter how dark the night may seem, there is always light at the end of the tunnel, and there is a sunrise waiting to greet you. To inspire you to break through your own barriers, rewrite your own story, and to step into the light of your true potential. So what can you expect from Elevate and Thrive? Each week, I am going to bring you stories of triumph, resilience, and empowerment. We're going to explore the depths of the human spirit, spirituality, uncovering the courage and the strength that lies in each and every one of us. But more than that, we're going to provide you with practical tools, actionable insights, and a community of like-minded individuals who are also on this journey alongside you. So whether you're facing your own challenges or simply seeking inspiration to elevate your life, know that you have come to the right place. Together, we are going to break barriers, defy expectations, and soar to new heights. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I cannot wait to see where it takes us. Remember, you are worthy, you are enough, and your journey to an empowered life starts now. We grow through experience. And we learn through experience. And so the suffering is an experience. I think that the biggest thing that we can do to help people is not try to solve their problems and magically make them happy. It's to continue to level up ourselves and lead by example. And
Yes.
the more that we work on ourselves and the more that we come into the light and the more that we learn, we're shining that light for other people. And you said it earlier, there was people that asked you what you're doing to make you so happy. And that is a perfect confirmation that because of who you are and the work that you're doing on yourself, other people are watching and other people are noticing that. And so I don't think that we need to do anything as far as other people goes, other than just support them, like I said. And then if somebody comes to you and says, hey, you seem way happier than the rest of us. What's your secret? Then I think it's our obligation to share our secret, right? It's not a secret, because the truth is we want everybody to be happy and succeed and thrive, and that is how it should be. And that's humanity. And we've lost connection with our humanity and that side of it. I think a lot of people have, not everybody, but a lot of people have. I think by us being that light and continuing to just level up and shine that and share what we're doing, that might help other people. So including sharing our stories, right? Our hardship. And that's the whole point of this podcast that I'm wanting to do, is because when we share our hardships and we show people, hey, I was here, I was you, and now I'm here. And if I can do it, you can do it. That's so powerful, right? It gives people hope and it gives them a little light to follow, even if there's nobody else around them that is in that same seeking mode. I'm going to follow this light over here. I truly believe that that is how we help as many people as we possibly can.
You're right, Jen. I actually don't know exactly when my purpose changed to become a coach, but I think it's always been helping my entire life. I've always wanted to help people. I've told you, as a child, I thought that was my purpose. I was born into this religious to preach the word of God and save the world. That's what I was raised to believe my entire. So for me, I've always had this thing, I need to help people. So when this whole thing, when the religion didn't match with my soul, with how I felt inside, and it was very hard. to try to understand my true feelings, who I truly am, to what people have told me my entire life that I should be or who I was. So when you finally understand what you truly love and what your passion is and what you're here to do, now my thing is, how do I help others to feel that way? And like you said, the more I study and read, the only way we could help is by our own experiences, what we've gone through.
We just naturally went into your story a little bit. So
Mhm.
do you want to just go with it from here? Because
Okay.
you just naturally went there, and that's it's such a beautiful segue into this conversation and this podcast is talking about the beginning of our journey and the
Yeah.
circumstances and the events that led you to where you are today. So, would you take us through that and tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. Jen, I came to a point where I was just done. And that scared me a
What do you
lot.
mean? What do you mean by you were just done? So,
Mm,
for the people that are listening and going to hear your story, can you give that backstory of how this all got started and tell us your history?
You see, I've always been a happy person. I think anybody that knows me or is, my family and friends, they'll tell you that I'm happy and the loving person and and it's hard when you're the happy person to really show people how you truly feel,
I understand that.
because usually they come to you for that. So when you can't give them the only thing people come to you for, then what is your purpose? So when I said I was done, I was done. I've always loved life since I was little. My sister, I'm telling you, me and my sister, she's my soul partner that came to straighten me and like adjust me, because we're like, she's the one that completes me. And I was just so happy and I loved everybody. And literally, I just, like my daughter, just walked around and I just wanted to hug people and love on people. And when I came to almost 4 years ago in May, I came to a point that I just sat here at my desk and I was done. I didn't find no joy being here. And that's what scared me, because I have 3 beautiful kids. And for the first time, I felt like I didn't want to be here. And I've never felt that before. So at that moment, I've always had a really close connection to God. As a child, I've always was taught to pray to God. So that's the only thing I know how to do, is pray to God, because that's all I've been introduced to in my life, to any higher source. So that's exactly what I did. I sat here at my desk and I cried and I begged and I pleaded. And I said, God, you know me. You read our hearts. I'm not what people think I am, but you do know me. And I said, help me. I asked for help. For the first time, I screamed and I asked for help. I said, I don't care what it is. Help me, guide me, show me. I've always wanted to do good. And I want to do good to you and for you. And I want to do good for humanity. Guide me, please. And that's the moment that I opened my phone and I was desperate. I was starting to save money and try to delete apps. And I almost deleted the Audible app. I opened it up. And as I scrolled, I felt like the book The Secret kept showing and popping up. And I said, I felt crazy already. So I'm laughing and talking to myself at this time. So I'm thinking I really lost it. And so I listened to the book. And for the first time ever, I felt this like sigh of relief. Like, I said, well, if this is true, everything could change. I thought to myself, if this is true, I don't have to feel this way. But then, of course, my childhood paradigms of everything I've been taught were dragging me. And then this is this new positive stuff I'm listening to. So of course my mind was, but I said, I did ask for help. So I'm going to do it, even though I don't believe it, even though I don't know about it. I'm just going to go for it. I listened to that book all week, Jen, for the first week.
Talk a little bit about how you were raised and why it was such a big deal for you to follow this, because I feel like that's such a huge part of your story. How we're raised absolutely affects how we see the world when we become adults and our belief systems.
Yes.
So this was a pivotal moment for you coming across this information, this secret. And that, by the way, that was a life-changing moment for me as well. So that was what started my journey. But tell me a little bit more about how you grew up and why this was such a big deal for you to be willing to question what you had believed up to that point.
Since I have first recollection of memory, I was taught the Bible. I was very religious. My dad was a minister. And since I could remember, so pretty much since I was a little child. So that came more responsibilities. Being the minister, you want to have an image, little perfect family image. You got your family under control, every perfect little family kind of thing, especially if you're the minister. And well, Miriam has never been so quiet and calm, and I've been happy and loving all my life. I'm not a person that sits around and just for 2-3 hours and tell her what to do and doesn't. I function differently. So things got a little hard when my dad didn't appreciate my ants in my pants. So I got disciplined a lot. We used to go to church, 3 times a week, plus daily going out preaching and doing other stuff. And so for sure, I used to get disciplined at least minimum 3-4 times a week. The other days I was in timeout. And I'm very passionate about that because I did not know how much that affected me. A couple years ago, I was that kind of parent that would say, oh, these kids are wimps. They don't even know I used to get my ass beat. And look at them now. You just tell them something and they're crying. And I used to be hard because, and when I say I used to get it, my dad would get the belt. I would have to go choose the belt. And they would go like, say this me, I would go up to maybe 20 kids, whips at a time. He would count. Oh, so this one was 15, so tomorrow you'll get 16 if you continue being bad. And then tomorrow you'll get 17. And then it will keep going up. And then I think with 20, it was like too many. So then he will go back to 1. So it was kind of like a cycle thing. It was kind of like I already knew it was a horror on our drive home. But then the thing is, my entire life, I didn't feel that they did anything wrong. My entire life, I felt I was a bad person because that's what they told me. They hit me because I was bad. And I used to pray to God before going to our church or meetings, and I would be, please, God, help me stay still. I don't want to be bad. You're a child, it's like, squirrel. I would sit there 1 hour, I'm good. By the second hour. And for me, it was not only that, it was more of the mind control thing. It was, you're bad. I hit you because I love you. So after I would get hit, they would ask me, Miriam, why did I hit you? And I had to look at him and say, because you love me.
I can relate to this. And I think it's important when we tell our stories to tell the truth of how we experienced it. Right. And I grew up also in a very religious home, also going to church 3-4 times a week. And a little bit later on in life, my mom got remarried, and my stepdad also was the one that would discipline. And so I experienced this as well. And in our church, there was a belief that spanking, or I think that in the Bible it was they used a crop or something like that,
Hmm.
a switch, that was the correct way to punish children so that they would learn and understand and be godly little humans, right? I think that was the belief. It sounds like from your father, that was the belief of my mom. And then when my stepdad came into the picture, that was also his belief. And so he did, and it was also believed in our church and the way that they interpreted the Bible, that the man should be the one doing the punishing. And so there was that was part of their role. And so as a child, hearing your story, and that's even making me reflect on mine, is like, we're just being little kids over here, happy and full of life and full of energy and exploring the world and wanting to understand things. But it's so impactful the way that we parent our kids. And so
Huh.
this isn't about blaming our parents for doing it,
No.
getting it wrong, right? But telling these stories creates awareness of maybe what we've been told is right and wrong
Hmm.
isn't necessarily truth. And sometimes when we believe something so strongly that we don't question it and we just act on what we're told is true, it creates so much more trauma and so much more damage to the people that we love. I know that was never the intention behind it. I know that was
I,
never the intention.
I feel like it's the misconception a lot of us had. I'm telling you, I had that same belief. I did not see what it had done to me until now that I'm doing the work and I'm going back and understanding, oh my goodness, that's why all my relationships with the people I've been with have been so toxic. And and when you understand that, then you're like, oh my God, I know my dad didn't have that intention. I know in his heart he loves me and he thought that was the best thing he could have done. Obviously, he doesn't feel that way now. He, of course, he's not okay with the path of life I've chosen, but that's where it all comes back down to.
Take us back to that moment when you found the secret and you were questioning, if this is true, then this could be a game changer and this could change everything that I've ever known. So, can you take us back to that moment? It sounds very pivotal for you.
Honestly, Jen, I feel like that was the first day of my life, to be honest. Honestly, everything else just seems like it wasn't me. I was always doing something that everybody else wanted me to do. I was being who everybody else wanted me to be. I was so sick physically. And that's why now the stuff I post is because I was there. I was physically sick. I made myself sick. I saw my mom die of cancer. And now I understand why. Because of all the stuff you hold inside. So when I listened to that book, I had so much hope, but then I also thought, this is the hard part that I think that's where everybody makes that decision. To think when you get to that point and you realize that everything that happened before you could have been totally different if you just had a different mindset, or that you feel like your whole life has been a lie, I think that's the point that comes so sickening that either you say, forget it, I'll keep the lie because it hurts less. I'll just keep living this semi lie over here and try to make it a little better. I'll improve myself a little bit, but I won't do all the deep work because that's just too hard to deal with. So I'll just be okay with being mediocre, okay, and happy. Happy once in a while. You see, I wasn't okay with being happy once in a while. So I said, either I'm going to go full or I'm not going to go at all. So I made a choice at that moment and I prayed to God and I said to him, you brought me to this point here. I'm going to do this full force. I'm never going to look back. Guide me as I need to be guided. And you know what? Every day I wake up with that mentality, Jen. I say, guide me. And I met you by chance. And look at the beautiful relationship we have now. I feel I've met and done so many amazing things in these past 4 years that I had never done my entire life. Just knew it. It was so scary. And trust me, every day I wanted to look back, and then I realized I just go back to that day, how I felt. And I said, no, I said, keep going forward.
So when you're faced with the setbacks, because this is not an easy journey, that was
No.
such a difficult choice for you. And I really commend your awareness on realizing that if I go this way, everything could change. And
Mm-hmm.
that is not an easy thing to do. I think
Mm-hmm.
as humans, when we're faced with something that could change what we know to be true, whether that be in our circumstances, our relationships, our family in this case. Oh my gosh, what a hard choice that is. And it's scary. It's so scary because you're walking into the unknown. The possibility of leaving what you love and what you know behind is real. And that is where the fear, I think, creeps in. So in those moments on this journey after you made that decision to move forward and follow your heart and you had these realizations, when you had moments of adversity or setbacks or failures, how did you find the strength to keep moving forward and keep going? And is there a specific instance that you can think of where your resilience or your drive to move forward played a role in what brought you here now?
So many. Then at that moment when I made that choice, I was the most unhealthiest I've ever been. My husband and I were not talking. We were about to get a divorce for the 20th time. My kids were so unhappy. And then it all happened also during COVID. So, of course, we're just a mess. It was just, it was not a good time. But that little piece of peace and that I felt at that one moment of understanding that I have a choice and I could make it if I could only put aside everything they've told me, and I've created this new mentality that I could create this new beautiful life. And I was like, well, I'm always up for a challenge. That's one thing about me, babe. I will not give up.
I love it. I'm the same
You
way,
know, since a
friend.
little kid,
I'm
I'll
the
be
same.
on the floor and I'll be like, I still got it. I am not giving up.
So sheer will is part of that. Just the drive to keep going no matter what comes your way.
And you know what? And then I feel like if I give up, then I will never then I will never know. Then I will never know. I know what's over there. I've been there.
Yeah.
I was there for what, 44 years. I know what's there. And nothing there gave me any peace. Over here is giving me at least something to look forward to. And I made this choice on my own. My husband and my kids, my friends, no one knew. But that's a choice that you have to do between you, and a contract that you do between you and God, higher source. And we are connected and He listens. And I just felt, you know what, Jen, I felt for the first time, I felt loved.
Mm.
For me was everything.
Yeah. I think coming back to this place of love in ourselves, because when I look at religion or even spirituality, to me, what it really comes down to is believing in a higher power, something
Yeah.
bigger than ourselves, right? And love. Really, like, I truly believe that this higher source, God, verse, whatever name you feels good for you,
Yes, whatever it is.
call it, it's about love, and it's the energy
Mhm.
of love, and it's about rediscovering that and coming back to ourselves in this place of love because God is love. And so that to me is the journey of coming
Yeah.
back to being our authentic loving selves. And when we challenge these belief systems, and
It's hard.
all of it has a purpose, but it is hard. It's really, really hard. And
Mhm.
sometimes it can feel very, very lonely. Saying that when you made this choice, nobody knew. And for me, it was very lonely because I also chose this path of discovery and
Mhm.
challenging what I had been told or taught, or at least
Mhm.
wanting to understand it more, right? Not
Yeah.
necessarily challenging, maybe isn't the right word, but there's this loneliness, feeling like you're the only one, in your surroundings or your people or your world
Yes.
that's kind of walking this path. And it's hard when you don't really have anybody that can relate to what you're going through. And so that can be very challenging. And also, when you do start to really grow as a person and come back to this place of love, in whatever that looks like for us, people around you that haven't done that themselves, it can be really, really hard for them because we're basically a reflection of what's possible. And
Mhm.
if that person has not chosen to do that, it can be very triggering for people and it can be
Oh,
hard.
yeah.
So, this is the part of spirituality or being on this journey that a lot of people don't talk about, is that stepping into possibility and love and learning and evolution of your soul
Mhm.
oftentimes can mean that the people that are not aligned with that part of your journey maybe go their separate ways, or maybe the connection's not the same as what it was before.
Mhm.
That adds another layer to it. And I think that's why a lot of people choose to stay in their comfort zone, because they're scared of losing what they know. And they're scared of losing the people that they love and care about. And not that that happens every time, but
Well,
in my life, there have been times where I feel like my journey of who I am now didn't match the way that people viewed the world and the people that I loved and cared about that were around me.
mhm.
And so I think that there was just this natural kind of separation that happened. And that is not an easy thing to go through.
No, and when you say that is, you see, it for me, it wasn't just religion, that I had to break free from. I knew that choosing a path different from the religion was I was going to lose family and friends. And it wasn't as hard as it would have been when I was younger, when I was really fully in it. That's I think what started breaking me away. I've gone through because I was disfellowship when I got pregnant with my first daughter. So that was the first initial separation. And at that point, my life was horrible. I had no other friends but the people from church. I had no friends, no family outside of church. So when I got pregnant with my daughter, I was disfellowship and vanished pretty much. So pretty much, if they see me on the street, they turn away like I don't know you.
Mm.
That's how it is. And it was hard. And I was pregnant and I was emotional and I was scared and I was alone. And that was hard. And they do that because they say, if you're alone, more chances you are to come back. So of course they do that to keep you away. It's a control. And now that I understand that, it makes me sick. I lost 2 years of my life not being able to hang out with my mother, that she is no longer here because of that rule. So that's hard. And so after that, I made amends and I came back, but it was never the same. People, I love, there's amazing people in every religion, I believe. But unfortunately, I feel like when you're in a group like that, you fall into judgment of other people. And it's not intentional. I don't believe it is, but it's not helpful because I know as when I was in there, I know I was very judgmental of everybody without even knowing why. And now that I look back and I think to myself, wow, I was so judgmental towards everybody. And and I think that's one thing that I've learned to let go of that feels so bring. When you see somebody, just love on them. You don't need to judge them because they're not your religion.
Yeah.
You don't need to judge them because they have different life choices than you do. You don't need to judge them because they're a different color. You don't need to judge them because they prefer to do something different for work than you do. Why? If we're all one and I'm in you and you're in me, there's a little bit of me in you. Why am I hating on you? I should be happy that you're flourishing because, hey, that little piece of me is flourishing over there. You know what I mean? I think my whole perspective of life changed completely, and it didn't go overnight. Trust me, it was very hard. And there was many times I felt, oh my goodness, is this really worth it? But the little bit of benefits I saw, I was like, you know what, it is. Because I see light and I'm going to follow it. This journey is hard. And I know we still have our way to go, but I think I've come to the point that I understand where I am in my journey. I understand the things that were holding me back. I understand that as ugly as those things are, if you don't look back and deal with them, they're never going to go away. And you're going to continue to loop, like you were talking about earlier. It's a loop. If you don't face the monster, it will stay there until you turn around and hug it and give it love. I don't know where I heard this, and that helped me so much, Jen. They say when something's scaring you, even in a nightmare, if you're aware of it, conscious, turn around and face the monster and give it love. It can't hurt you when you give it love. Turn around and give it all the love you can.
Reflecting back on your journey and just really thinking about that, because you gave us so many ways that, yes, there was a lot of difficulty involved in this, but you just named off so many beautiful things as a result of you making that decision and walking this journey. And so much awareness and insight has come from all of these things and embracing all of it, right? Are there any other ways that you feel that your perspective has shifted, or any other insights that you've had as a result of going down this path and choosing something different?
I think the biggest mistake most of us do is thinking that we're victims of our own story. And for me, understanding that it was not my dad, it was not my husband, or my ex-husband, or my children, or my job, or whoever else out there that was making me feel the way I felt. When I truly understood that concept, you can't be mad at anybody. You cannot. And when you realize it's like, you got to love yourself, because, honey, if you don't love yourself, you can't give that love to no one else. And no one else will give you that love if you can't give it to yourself. And that hurt, because I have always been so giving of love. I just love loving people and hugging people. And I just love giving love, maybe because I wanted it so bad my entire life. And when I realized that, oh, it makes me sick. But now my children have filled me up with so much love, which is awesome. But understanding that no one could fill you with that was a game changer for me, because I always wanted someone else to give me that. I wanted someone else to just hug me and tell me it's gonna be okay. You know?
What message or lesson? So first of all, thank you for sharing. You're vulnerable today and you share your story. So I just really want to acknowledge you for that. And thank you for doing that, because I really truly believe by sharing our story and our journey with other people, it helps us not feel so alone. It
Yes.
might be somebody out there listening to this who can relate to things that you've said or things that I've said. And so if there's something that you could say, a message or a lesson that you want to share with people that might be facing similar challenges or going in a similar journey, what would that be?
Say be true to yourself and stop looking for outside sources to complete you. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you truly love yourself, you'll see God loving on you. It's such a beautiful thing. When I first felt that, when I finally accept. That's the thing. You need to accept yourself as you are, imperfect and all. The moment that I did that, I felt loved. I can't explain the feeling. It was just like somebody just, it's gonna be, and I said, this is what I've been waiting my entire life for. And you can't get to that point until you truly understand who you are, accept yourself, and love yourself. And stop thinking that anything that's happening to you is because of someone else. We have the power to create whatever we want. And your hurt, your pain, if you deal with it and love it and go and turn back at it and look at it and deal with it, then that is what's going to help your son or your daughter or your nephew or your niece or your neighbor or somebody else. So we just got to do the ugly work first to get to the love part.
And the love is so worth it.
Yes.
At the end of it all, to find love for yourself, find love for others, to remove that judgment for yourself and remove all of these shoulds and shouldn'ts are part of what people believe to be true. To get past all of that is just this place of love, understanding, empathy for others, compassion for yourself and for others, and peace. And not that we don't have days that are hard, because we
Yeah,
of course,
we do.
everybody does that. That is just part of being human. And sometimes really great, and sometimes it's really hard. I think this journey is about discovering who we are, our purpose, and love for ourselves and others. And really, if we can do that, it's such a beautiful gift.
I'll
So,
tell you one thing, one last thing that I love that I've learned that has truly helped me. It's like, if you guys get a chance, learn the laws of the universe. The law of polarity has taught me that there's polar opposites to everything. So if your life is really on the shitty side over here, guess what? It's gonna be really great on this side over here. But hey, if you're over here, it's a good sign. It could be way over here. So
I love it. I totally agree. If there was anything that you would want to say you want to leave for your legacy, I know that's a big question, but what would that look like? And what are some of your aspirations and goals for the future?
don't never allow somebody to water you down because you're too much. Because the you're too much is going to be perfect for someone else, even if it's that person just looking back at you in the mirror. That's all that matters. As long as you're good enough for that person looking back at you, that's all that matters, because that's the only person that we are holding accountability for. That's all we got. And if we could help the ones around us, even better. But the only ones that we could really look at is ourselves.
Do you want to share anything that you are currently working on? And also tell us where people can find you.
Yes, this journey has taken me to so many awesome venues and adventures and possibilities. My main focus and goal in life is to raise human consciousness, because I know that's what helped me. If you understand things not for what they appear, but what they truly are, then you're not scared anymore. And you're not caught up in all the fear of the news and everything else going around you. You have this inner peace and you're connected. So raising human consciousness is my priority, and we've been working, obviously, I'm working things with you. I also have my website, which is Amor Fati Mindset on Instagram.
Can you spell that for people that might not
Yes,
know how to?
it is Amor, is AMOR, Fati is FATI, mindset. And I heard that word Amor Fati is a Latin word, and it means love your life, love your fate. So yeah, we're gonna be throwing some difficult stuff at us at some points, but that's what makes us. and we get to learn from those things. Let's not take it as a challenge or something that came at us as bad. It's kind of like, whoa, that's awesome. Let's see how I could get around it, or what can I do to get through it. Try to see everything as a challenge, exciting, not like, oh Lord, why is this happening to me? We have the power. And that's what I want to help people at least bring a little joy. Like, hey, positive. You're going through this stuff. Guess what? There's a way out of this. There's always a way out. There's always a way out for everything. And I think understanding that and being around people with the same mindset and keeping in contact with that, that's what makes you grow. And what helped me was in those moments of darkness, when you're connected to good people that could help you and give you a little light. I'll be like, Jen, crying, and you connect your little light to me, and I'll be like, recharge. We need those people in our life. Group of people that are loving and want good for you, no drama. That's what I want. To be that for other people, and those people that want the same thing. I want those people in my life too,
Spreading the light, spreading the love, being
Yeah,
the light in the darkness, because the truth is there's a lot of darkness in the world right now.
very
There's
much
a lot
so.
of struggle. There's a lot of connection. I think that there's all of these, there's a lot of fear too. So when we work on ourselves and we into the light, we can shine that light for other people. So thank you for sharing your story today. I appreciate you so much. I feel like people are going to resonate with your story and what you said. And just thank you. And I appreciate you. So thank you for.
Thank you, Jen. And how hard it's been for me to even talk about stuff like this. But I know sometimes we got to do the hard things to help someone else. And we have so much more to give and put out, that we're here to help, and we will do it even if it takes us putting ourselves in the front. And thank you so much, Jen, for opening this space for us and just giving love, and you're such a beautiful soul.
And so are you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you.